My name is Susan Sturm. I am a professor at Columbia Law School, and I'm also the director of the Center for Institutional and Social Change. I teach courses on the civil justice system, on race and full participation, on access to justice. And my experiences both writing and teaching and working with organizations has led me to write this book, What Might Be: Confronting Racism to Transform Our Institutions. The current political environment might lead some people to feel that it's just too risky to even talk about race. That is a mistake. If we don't name it, we can't address it. Race is a critical part of achieving what I call full participation. Full participation means that institutions and communities enable people of all different races, genders, backgrounds, positions to enter, to succeed, to thrive, and to contribute to the thriving of others. And the failure of our current institutions to enable full participation is a threat to our democracy. You cannot achieve a democracy without full participation. And you cannot achieve full participation without addressing race. I wanted to write a book that would help change agents. The what might be is this is what we could create if we come together in multiracial collaborations to make these kinds of changes. The what might be is also what might be if we don't step up. We live in a time right now when many people are feeling a sense of despair because it seems so impossible to make any kind of proactive change at the federal level. But now is the time when it is critically important for people to get involved in making change at the institutional and community level. It's at this level that, first of all, we can sustain the sense of hope and possibility. And by continuing to do this work at the institutional level and finding others in other institutions and communities that are doing the same, we build the possibility and the constituency for enabling this change to happen at a national level when the opportunity presents itself. When I first started writing this book, I had a conversation with the dean of another law school about what I was doing, about writing a book about how to address racism in predominantly white institutions. He told me, "Don't write this book. You shouldn't be writing this book. You're only going to get yourself in trouble." I wrote it anyway. Why? I think trouble of this kind is the kind people like me need to be willing to be in. We need to be able to struggle with these kind of paradoxes. We need to be willing to make mistakes and recover from them. We need to be able to build environments in which making mistakes is a way to learn rather than a way to be kicked out of the project. And then I was encouraged by my students, particularly students involved in change work, including students of color. They thought it was really important and eye-opening to have somebody who is in a position of power, who's willing to take these risks, who's willing to share failures and struggles, and who's willing to do whatever I can to open up the possibility that other people would be able to struggle successfully with the very challenges that I was facing in writing the book. Should I talk about race, or should I not talk about race? Should I lean in to addressing racism as a white person, or should I step back and create space for people directly affected by racism? Should I work within an institution like the law when I know that that institution itself is the very source of injustice? These paradoxes, the paradox of racialized power, the paradox of racial salience, the paradox of institutional racism, have really gotten people stuck. I wanted to write a book that would draw on their insights, their struggles and experiences, as well as my own, so that people would have more tools and more stories that would both inspire their hope and their sense of possibility and give them some concrete strategies that are informed by cutting-edge research about how to stick with this kind of change over the long haul. Lawyers play a critical role because we understand how power is exercised by the government and by the state. We can equip people to be able to navigate all of the levers that are necessary in order to achieve change. We have to accept the definition of law that builds in injustice, but we also have to accept a definition of law and embrace a definition of law that I learned from my mentor, Robert Cover. Law is the relationship between the is, the unacceptable status quo, the ought, the vision of the future we want to achieve, and the what might be. What can we do as lawyers to help people narrow the gap between the unacceptable is and the desired future?